Pisces, happy October 2017. This is Dark Dove Tarot. Hope everybody is doing fantastic in October, one of my favorite months. I absolutely love Halloween. So I'm going to go ahead and use the deck that I normally do because they're pretty Halloween-y. I didn't think about it until this month and realized for October coming up that my cards are already black and orange. Anyways, hope you're doing fantastic. Again, as you know, I generally do this for singles or anybody looking to reconcile, but mainly for singles. I'm doing the spread face up this month because I'm learning a lot about signs and different energies, and I want to see what else we can find, you know, throughout the spread. If you would prefer me to go back to doing them card by card, I'm more than happy to do that. Just need to let me know. You know, I do this for you, and I'm interested to see what you have to say. So, let's see what this month brings. As you know, general read. So check your sun, moon, and rising, as some months those may resonate with you more than others. Again, I move pretty quick. I have a lot to say. Don't want to take up too much of your time. And let's get started here. Which, Pisces, you have a ton going on already, I can see, just from the amount of major arcana you have going on here. Alright, so again, likes, subscribes, comments are always greatly appreciated. If you want a private read, the information's in the description. So let's get started. Alright, so coming into the month, your current position is the Devil. And the Devil is about vices, jealousy, addiction, but Pisces, this tells me that if you're dating, you're meeting people who have problems. Like maybe you're meeting a lot of people who drink heavily, do drugs, are pill poppers. You know, somehow you're running into people who tend to have a lot of vices. It could be you, but when I shuffle the cards, as you know, I always pre-shuffle and then I add a little energy as we get started. When I pre-shuffle, I always ask for, like, you know, information on your dating life or your love life or people you're meeting, etc. And this is striking me as these are the type of people you're meeting. You might also be meeting people who are kind of jealous. Like, I feel like some of you have met one or two people and they either show them their true colors immediately, or not immediately, but after a little bit, because otherwise you wouldn't be dating. You would be like in some sort of committed relationship and then finding that out, which could very well be happening. Maybe Pisces, you're meeting people and then a few weeks, months into it, after dating them pretty consistently, maybe one or two people, you're finding out that they take pills a lot more than they said they did, or they drink a lot more than they said they do. It's also a jealousy card. It's about, you know, people feeling insecure in themselves. So Pisces, I kind of get the feeling that maybe some of the people you've met are feeling insecure in themselves, and so they're kind of wanting all of your time, but you're dating, right? It's the dating game, and so that's what, you know, you need to be allowed to date. You shouldn't have to focus on just one person unless you both agree that's where you're at and you both agree that's what you want to do. I'm going to pull your theme for the month. I forgot to do that when we started, but the Devil's making me very curious as to what your theme is. So just be careful with the people you're meeting, and I feel like a lot of you are being pretty sensible about it, but you're feeling a little lost. Like, hey, everybody I meet seems to have a problem, or they have something they're being secretive about, and you're not quite sure how to feel. And this just popped out. And you have the Emperor. So, it's a very good card. That tells me that you're being very, you know, you're looking into things, not being overly critical, but you're being very, looking at things with authority, very structured. So I do feel like you're avoiding these types of people. However, you seem to be running into a lot of those people. So Pisces, I feel like some of you are going, what is the deal here? You know, is there anybody normal out there? It doesn't even have to be like drugs or alcohol. It can be food. It can be sex. So some of the people you're meeting just have not been forthcoming, and you're kind of getting tired of it. So coming into October, I feel like some of you are going, all right, I've got to make some changes. Now, it could be, Pisces, that some of you have some problems that you need to take care of. And, you know, by all means, please seek help if that is something you truly need. If you're looking to reconcile, I feel like these may be reasons you're separated. Maybe somebody was, you know, spending too much money, gambling, again, the drinking, the drugs. This is about vices. This is about somebody you thought you knew, somebody you thought was a certain way, and they showed you their true colors and you just can't deal with it. So if you're looking to reconcile, I think some of you are still waiting for that person to come around. Maybe they're in rehab, maybe they said they were taking care of the problem, or you're just kind of wishful thinking that they're going to figure it out on their own, and it may need that they need some serious help. In the meantime, that could also mean that some of you are facing some scary, sketchy exes. Like, again, the jealousy vibe is very strong with the devil. So this could be somebody who's, you may have had to block, but you are curious about how they're doing. Maybe you haven't talked in a long time. Maybe they have gotten over their problems and you're kind of wondering, you know, all right, is this somebody, I loved this person to death, and despite all odds, I still want to be with them. I'm just not sure what to think about where our future could lead or how they're doing. The next card you have is the Five of Coins. And this is internal factors. So this is anything that you're feeling coming into the month, you know, something that challenges or helps the devil that you have here coming in. And the Five of Coins is about loss. It's about, and this is financial loss most of the time, but it's also, I think if you're single, you're just feeling, Pisces, like, hey, I met some pretty cool people and I thought things were going well and they are not who I thought they were. And, you know, these men or women that I meet online or in meetup groups or however you're dating are telling me one thing and then they're showing me completely, they're wearing a mask. They're showing me a completely different side. And the Five is saying that you're done with it. You're like, I would rather be alone and destitute than to deal with these types of people. And coming into October, you're kind of feeling like, what is going on? You're feeling like, you know, I'm a good person. I'm a decent person. I'm pretty structured in the way of, I don't do those things. I don't do illegal drugs. I don't, whatever. You might go out, have drinks. You might, you know, I don't know, like have a lot of sex, whatever it is that these people are doing, but you're not doing it to the nth degree like the people you're meeting are. And you're just kind of feeling like, I'd rather be alone, I'd rather not date at all, than to be with people who aren't telling me the truth. They're trying to pull the wool over my eyes, and I'm smarter than that. If you're looking to reconcile, this is loss. So this is, maybe you feel like you've lost somebody to the vices. Maybe you feel like this person that you love so much is just, you're like, who is this person? This is not the person I knew. And you're kind of waiting to get them back, but you're starting to feel like that's not happening. And you're almost feeling like, you know, what am I going to do? It doesn't seem like you're really ready to move on. Now, some of you might be. It may be that this is like what you needed to move on. Like, it's not stopping. The behavior's not stopping. Their personality's not stopping. They're showing you a whole different person. Maybe it's as simple as you just broke up because things weren't working right, and now they're being a crazy stalker. And you're going, whoa, who's this? So just be careful, because these two cards definitely speak of something bigger than yourself, or, you know, your ex. The next card you have, and I read this together for singles and anybody looking to reconcile, is your distant past. So over the past, you know, few years, and you have the Wheel of Fortune. Could be 10 years. The Wheel of Fortune is about change. It's about destiny. So at some point in your life, you had really good things happen, dating-wise, relationship-wise. And then at some point, those changed and things got worse. Then they change and they'd get better. So I feel like, Pisces, a lot of you are worried about the things that you're recognizing from the past is, like if you're dating or if you're looking to reconcile, you're used to, if things are going not well right now, you're used to the other shoe dropping, right? So it couldn't get any better. It's just going to continue to get worse. But the Wheel of Fortune is saying, no, remember that time that you thought that things couldn't get any worse and there was a light at the end of the tunnel and they got better. It could also tell you, you know, hey, Pisces, have some hope. Have some, you know, inspiration this month. And see the glimmer of hope. Even if things aren't starting out well for you this month, you're going to remember that, like, there's always a turning point. If things get bad, they're going to get better. If things are good, they can get worse. But you don't want to dwell on the worst right now. I think, Pisces, you need to dwell on the fact that things can get much better, and you've been in a much better place. So the Emperor for your theme is saying, stick with it, Pisces. Stick to your guns, stick to what's important to you, stick to what you need to be successful and be in a healthy relationship. And you'll get there. You just have to be true to yourself. Don't you start wearing a mask to try and make somebody like you or make somebody feel differently about you. Stick to who you are and good things will come. The next card you have is your immediate past, so over the past month or so, and you have the Fool. So if you're dating, this tells me that at some point last month or the month before, you were feeling like, man, there's a lot of potential out there. I'm feeling really like footloose and fancy free. This is like the Innocence card, so it's kind of like there's endless possibilities. I feel like you were dating a lot of people and you were meeting a lot of people, and maybe it came down to 1 or 2 people this past month, and you thought, hey, these would be really good partners for me. They would be, you know, they're saying all the right things. They like all the things I do. We have enough in common to keep things interesting, but we have enough, you know, that we're opposite on to keep things, you know, rolling and exciting, you know, getting to know each other and getting to know people's perspectives on things that maybe you're not normally into or used to. And so the Fool is like opening the major arcana, saying, here's the beginning to new opportunities. And somewhere in the past month or so, something happened. I really strongly feel, Pisces, you met somebody you thought you'd be really compatible with. Not that you put all your eggs in that basket, because I don't see it being like a full-on committal, but you really had high hopes that, hey, this is what's going to happen, and there's a chance that this person could be amazing, and then like all of a sudden they showed their true colors. And I think maybe part of the reason you're coming into the month of October feeling this way, because it just happened and you just noticed it. But again, like I said, I don't think you put all your eggs in one basket. I think that you said, okay, I've got to make some changes. I got to figure out, how do I keep ending up with these types of people? What am I doing? Am I sleeping with them too fast? Am I getting too emotional? Not that you're to blame. I'm just saying it takes 2 to tango, right? So sometimes the people we get or the people we engage with are people that we're putting out the signals that it's okay to treat us that way, or it's okay to, I'm okay if you go out to the bar every night, or I'm okay if you take pills every day. So I think you're kind of going, okay, you're coming into this month going, what am I missing? What am I not seeing in meeting people? Because I think I meet amazing people. The past month or 2 I've had good opportunities. So where's this going wrong? I realize that majority of it's going to be people you're meeting, but you also are wondering how you let these types of people into your life. And if you're looking to reconcile, I feel like maybe you saw a light at the end of the tunnel. Either you were going to exit from this person, or they were getting better, or, you know, you thought, oh, you know, they are wonderful and I love them and we still have this connection and we might get back together. Or, hey, they contacted me and now they're being like crazy psycho. Or, you know, maybe you thought that this was just a blip. We're only going to break up for a little bit. They have some things they need to figure out. Now you're finding out, whoa, like things were way worse than you thought. Maybe you thought that they spent too much money occasionally, and now you find out like, hey, I've got a bookie calling my phone trying to find my ex, right? The next card you have is going to be your distant future. So in time, over the next few months throughout the end of the year, and you have the Magician, which is a really powerful card. These are kind of go in order. And what's interesting is you have a lot of major arcana, like I said, the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fool, the Magician, and Death. And these 3 are right in a row, which is your immediate past, your distant future, and your immediate future. So the Magician, for your distant future over the next 2 weeks into the end of the year, is about hope. So this is, you're going to get back here. So whatever it was that made you feel like this when you came into the month, you're going to get back to feeling like this, because the Magician is about having control over situations, being able to maintain yourself, maintain your dignity, be who you want. It's saying that, look, you can represent, you know, anything, any sign, as long as you're true to yourself and you're true to what you want. So I think that some of you really did meet 1 or 2 people. You thought they would be good. It turned out they weren't great, and maybe you let it go on a little longer than you should have. And I think that some of you are feeling this way because you're feeling like, I'm losing a really good guy or girl. I thought that person was really amazing, but they've got all this stuff going on, and I can't do that. I can't bring that into my life. It's not something I'm into. It's not something I want to do. And it's not something I'm willing to bend on. And it doesn't even have to be like, oh, they're a drunk, or they're a drug addict. It could just be certain things you're not into. Maybe they want to jump right into bed, or maybe they want to jump right into moving in together. And you're going, you know, not really my thing. Or maybe they want all the passwords to everything you have, or whatever the case is, it's not you. And the Magician is saying over the next few months, through the end of the year, you're going to have versatility to meet new people still and make those connections, but you're going to control it better. You're now going to start, and the Death card is screaming change. So you're now going to look at things and say, okay, I'm not going to let things get to a certain point with people who I know don't make me feel good and don't have the same morals and beliefs that I do. Not that you want everybody to be exactly like you or that they have to be perfect or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. But the Magician is saying that you're still wanting to make those connections. You still want to meet those people, but you're not willing to give of yourself. And, you know, you're now going to try and figure out what you're putting out into the universe so you can figure out what you're going to get back from the universe. And if you're looking to reconcile, I really think that you're going to spend the next month or two meeting new people and connecting with new people and kind of conversing with people and getting over this person. Because I feel like some of you have some exes that have really tormented you or have put you through the ringer and you love them. You're kind of like, I don't care about, you know, the jealousy or the stalker behavior. I don't care about the drugs. That was in the past. But you know in your heart that's not good enough for you. And I think you're going to be starting over from the beginning, because the Fool's the beginning of the cycle, and move to Magician right in line. And I think you're going to make that happen. And you're going to be able to better figure out your connections. And it may just be friendships right now. You may be going to groups like NA or learning, you know, talking to people who've had similar situations. The next card you have is your immediate future, so over the next few weeks and throughout the month of October, and you have Death, which is one of my favorite. A lot of people go, oh, death. No, it's not a death card like physical death. It could be, but majority of the times I get more nervous about the 9 or 10 of Swords than I do of death. And yes, you have the 9 of Swords here, but it's internal. We'll talk about that in a minute. Death is about rebirth, transformation, a major change. It's about ending a cycle. And so Death is saying here, Pisces, that whoever these people are that you're meeting, it's almost like you saw the red signs. Or like I said, you allowed the behavior longer than you should have. Or you allowed yourself to get involved with people you normally wouldn't. Or you knew this person was not being on the up and up with you. Maybe they wanted, you know, again, like, they didn't make you feel good. You kind of almost got that, like, skin crawling, but you didn't do anything about it. You just kind of, like, kept going with it because maybe they were really cute, or they made you feel really good most of the time, but then occasionally they made your skin crawl. Or maybe they said all the right things, but then you started to notice, like, hey, you didn't hear from them for 5 days, but yet they said you were the one for them. Whatever it is, you're done. You're done with the BS. You're done with, you know, worrying about, you're in control here. So like the Magician, over the next few months, you're in control. You're going to control who you hang out with. You're going to control who you date. You're going to control how far you go in a relationship, how fast you do certain things in a relationship, what types of behaviors you will tolerate, what types of behaviors you won't tolerate. And you'll have to go from there. And we've all been there, right? I mean, I dated a guy one time who would say stupid stuff when he would get drunk at home or drink heavily and call me and say stuff like, and then I wouldn't hear from him for a week. And then he'd text me and say, so sorry, I was just super embarrassed because I got drunk. And I'd be like, okay, well, I typically don't want to be around people like that, but oh, it's a one-time thing. And then it happened again. And I realized it was more than a one-time thing. And I apologize. I have to blow out one of my candles over here. It looked like it was catching on fire. And so, I think that had I realized it, I probably would have been like, meh, one time is too many. You don't know me well enough to start that type of behavior. So just kind of an example of things that maybe you're allowing in your life that you know better, that you know is not good for you. If you're looking to reconcile, I think this immediately screams change. I think you're going to have to restart on your own. I think that this may mean if you were together, living together, you may be moving your stuff out. And I hate to say it, Pisces, but for a lot of you, this person is really sick, or this person has a lot of things that you do not want to get wrapped up in. And instead of being sad about it or worrying about the connection or thinking about this and, oh, but I still love them, I think you should be thinking of it like, hey, I dodged a bullet here because we could have been worse. We could have been married with kids, and then it would be affecting our children and our family and a mortgage. And so I think some of you need to change the way you think about things. Like, things will get better. There's a positive to every negative. And I think that that's something you're going to have to realize this month, unfortunately, because I do see a change being made for the better, and I don't think it's going to be reconciliation. The next card you have is any future external factors. So things that will affect you throughout the month, externally, more tangibly. And you have the Nine of Coins. So if you're dating, this is about abundance. So you're going to have an abundance of suitors, but I think, again, you're going to change the way you're presenting yourself. It could be even just changing your online dating profile or changing the type of people you look for. If it says, hey, recently divorced or separated, and you're looking for a committed relationship, guess what? They're not, because they're recently separated. So they're either on the rebound or, and I'm not saying bad, I'm saying this from experience, you know, but I have friends who are like, oh, I met this guy or this girl online, and it says they're recently separated. But, you know, I mean, they're not legally divorced yet, but they're getting there. Well, guess what? You've been married for 10 years. You need a break. You need to sow your wild oats. You need to get divorced. You need to sell the house. You need to do whatever. The ink needs to be dry. And so I think, Pisces, you're starting to realize this month, I need to change how I'm looking at it. And then Nine of Coins says, once you make these changes, you're going to see this. Now, it may not be in the beginning of October. It may be in the middle, the end. It could be up and down throughout October. But I really feel like if you change the way you think about it, you're going to start seeing an abundance of suitors that kind of fit what you're looking for and what you want. And you're going to feel satisfied with it. You may not meet the man or woman of your dreams immediately, but you're going to notice a difference in the quality of people you're meeting. And it's not that you haven't met quality people per se, but different lifestyles, different things. And you're changing maybe your behaviors too, in when you're first starting to date. You know, holding back on things, or maybe, you know, even the intimacy factor, you know, making sure that you're becoming friends or whatever before. But if that's not what you want, then don't do it. I'm just saying, if you're really looking for love, depending on what you're putting out into the universe is what you're going to get back. If you're looking to reconcile, the Nine of Coins is about accomplishment. It's about success and satisfaction. And I think that once you make these changes, you're going to feel accomplished and successful. Some of you maybe have been in a relationship for years and you've never been on your own. And so this is going to be new. It's going to be like, I haven't been on my own in 9 years. And I'm sticking to this person in these situations that are kind of devastating because I don't know any better. Because I've never done it. So you're going to do it and you're going to feel successful on it. Now let's talk about this ugly sword, or this ugly hand, the Nine of Swords. Don't let the ugly hand crush you. I always say that on the 9 and 10 of Swords. Luckily, I feel better when these come up internally, because the Nine of Swords is about introversion and fear, feeling anxious and depressed. This is going to happen throughout the month internally. So this is throughout September. This is your internal feelings. So if you're single or if you're looking to reconcile, you are going to be having a flow of feelings of ups and downs. You're going to start feeling like, if you're single, you're going to feel like anxious, but it doesn't have to be bad anxious, but you are going to be fearing that you're going to be doing the same thing, that you're not looking at things clearly, that you're not going to meet the right people, that you're still not paying attention, that you're still not putting out what you need to. Wipe that away, because your distant future is amazing and you're controlling it. We'll go over this, but this is amazing. So at the end of the day, if you're single, you're really going to have to recognize the fact that you can do this, that you're going to start putting out the right vibes. But don't be nervous if you're fearful about it or if you're feeling anxious about it. That's part of life, right? And it's part of dating, and dating now is ridiculous. So anybody who's not nervous or not fearful at some point, like, then props to you, because you're much better than I am. If you're looking to reconcile, I think that you're going to need to get over the depression and the fear. Make sure that you don't introvert, because I think that you're going to make the changes. You're going to put yourself out there. Not necessarily that you're going to go straight to dating, because you also may need to sow your oats and get your things in order before you go out and meet somebody. But dating, having fun, meeting friends isn't bad. Just don't slip back into this, oh, I have to have you back, or, I need you back, I can't live without you, because you will feel depths of depression. And just breaking up with somebody, or knowing, and you may already be separated and have been separated for months, but there's a very strong connection here, and you're having a really hard time letting go of it, even though majority of you know that's the healthiest thing for you. So if you slip back into doubt and depression and you introvert again, then it can be pretty hard. I mean, I've had a breakup that was really hard. It was devastating. I mean, you feel like you can't breathe. You feel like you can't eat. You feel like you can't get out of bed. Everybody's been there and had that. Just, you can't let that take you away from any successes and accomplishments this month. You're just going to have to keep going. And I know it's easier said than done, but you know it. And I think that you're going to have successful moments that will outweigh the trials and tribulations. Okay, so the next card you have is your hopes and fears for the outcome of the month. And you have the Four of Cups. And then your actual outcome. And you have the King of Coins. All right, so the Four of Cups is internal as well, which I prefer the Four of Cups internally. But this is saying, if you're single, don't take anything for granted and don't get too self-absorbed. So, let's say you were putting your heart on your sleeve when you were dating before, and it wasn't working out for you. You may have been giving the signal of, you know, people would tell you what they think you'd want to hear because you'd be so forthcoming with it. Don't go the opposite. Don't all of a sudden be like, you know, I can't tell you anything, you know, and don't also have the attitude of like, I'm too good for you. Pisces rarely do, because Pisces are water sign, and water signs tend to be very caring, but they can also be manipulative, and I'm a water sign, so I mean, we have our good and our bad, but you don't want to get too absorbed in, what am I doing wrong, what am I doing right, or that person said this exact word and therefore I can't date them, right? Don't go too opposite the other direction, because then you might miss out on somebody good. So, and again, this is just your hopes and fears. So this may be something you're fearing. Like, maybe I'm now going into this worried that I'm going to meet these jackasses, and yet don't go the opposite direction of being too worried about it or taking anything for granted. Because the other thing it comes down to is, you don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste your time. So if you really see some things that are red flags, then move on. But if you don't invent them either, right? And water signs do that. We can be kind of like on border of paranoia to a certain extent. If we've had a bad experience, then we almost like wait for the other shoe to drop. And you don't want to get into that mindset, because you have a king waiting for you, but I'll tell you about that in a second. So if you're looking to reconcile, it's the other thing. Don't get too self-absorbed. Don't worry about the time that you spent with this person, because some of you may have a tendency because of this to then say, well, I wasted a lot of time with this person, or, oh, 8 years gone, or however long it is. But remember the wheel, that good things and bad. And the relationship wasn't all bad, or you wouldn't be worried and thinking about them right now. And it could just be that that's all you're doing is thinking about them. And honestly, I don't think they're in a very good place. Could be. Again, this is general. It's not going to resonate with everybody, but I think you know it. And the Four is saying, you know, have some empathy for them, but don't waste your time worrying about, ooh, these popped out. Don't waste your time worrying about, you know, what you can and cannot do to fix them or solve their problems, because they're in a place right now that you just can't, unfortunately. All right, these two popped out. I'll go over that in a second. So, the outcome is the King of Coins. And the King of Coins is really good. This is about somebody who's confident and stable. So if you're looking to date, you are going to come across as confident. And you're going to feel more stable because you're in control. The Magician is saying you're going to be in control for the next few months. You've learned your lesson, and now you're controlling the situation. And I really feel like you're going to meet this king. You're going to meet like an emperor, kingly type. Somebody who's almost going to be more structured than you. They're going to have a little more balance, a little more control. They might even have more money. This might be somebody older who's been around the block a little more. They understand. They've got their finances in order. They have a really good career. This is about business and stability as well. So I think you'll be building on a lot of things, but I firmly believe, Pisces, you're going to meet somebody amazing. Now, the coins are earth signs, so it's Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So some of you may be meeting an earth sign because you have quite a few coins. You have the Five of Coins, the King of Coins, and the Nine of Coins. You have a lot of major arcana as well. And then, you know, you have the Capricorn card in death. So it could be very well be an earth sign. That just came up for some reason. Let's see what your two clarifying cards come out. But King of Coins, you're going to get there. And if you're looking to reconcile, this is you like saying, okay, I'm confident. I got this. And you're going to be very stable. And I think that you're going to build and build and build. The momentum here is going to be amazing for you if you do make the changes and decisions. Now, some of you this person may have changed, or you may have changed if it's you who's on the end of having some major issues, and then you could grow together into something and your relationship could change. But ideally, out of this spread, it's saying that you're going to have to let some stuff go to grow into this amazing person, to find the stability. And I think it's all about momentum. Like, it's going to be really tiny, right? You're going to plant the soil first and the seed, and then it's going to grow and grow and grow. But eventually it's going to bloom into something that's going to make you realize that you don't want to concentrate on how much time you spent with it. You don't want to be depressed and anxious over it anymore. Something this month or next is going to tell you, is going to show you the light. Like, you're going to see something and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm happier without this person. Or I'm not always worried about them all the time, because you had to let that go in order to work on you. So the next two cards you have are going to be clarifying your outcome for the month and your distant future. So, excuse me, let's start with your outcome. The outcome, you have the King of Coins and you have a Hermit. So, very interesting, because the Hermit card is Virgo. So I strongly believe if you haven't met an earth sign, you probably will be meeting an earth sign, because the Hermit is an earth sign card, as well as the King is too. So you have a lot of kings here. You have the King of Coins right here, the King of Wands, and then the Emperor, kind of considered a king, right? Because they're authoritative, they're, you know, some sort of magistrate. So anyways, the Hermit being here immediately screams earth sign to me. Again, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. Is somebody you're meeting if you're single. And if you're single, this is also you. This is somebody, so I was going to say this is about you, but I really think the King and the Hermit is about the person you're going to meet. Because the Hermit is somebody who's very spiritual, but has a lot of wisdom. So I think you're going to retreat, which the Hermit card suggests retreating from the dating world once you meet this person. It's interesting. I have this feeling that, and it may not be by the end of October, it could be by the end of the year, but you're going to meet this Hermit, this King, this Emperor, who you're immediately going to retract from the dating site. Like, there's no questions, you've met them, and you're going to want to focus some energy on them. If you're looking to reconcile, you may have been dealing with an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, and this is telling you, the Hermit is saying, be wise. Okay, retreat. And so, like I said, most of the cards here are saying this is something that you need to get away from. And something that could be positively dangerous, or not even dangerous, like life-threatening, but something that down the lines is going to get worse, not better. You have the King of Wands on your Magician here, and the King of Wands goes very much along with the Emperor, the King, and the King, because the King is saying this is somebody who's a leader. There's somebody who has good ethics. So if you're single, yes, you're meeting somebody who has good ethics, same morals as you, somebody who's not going to ask you to change who you are, and somebody that's not going to make you feel like you're not trusting your judgment. This person's going to kind of come in and they're going to inspire you to be a better you. That's exactly what's coming, Pisces. Somebody's going to make you be a better you. You're good, but you've had some downs and falling for people, and they're going to be realistic. They're not going to tell you everything that they think that is going to make you fall for them. They're going to tell you like it is, and you're going to like some of it, and you're not going to like some of it, and you're going to go, wow. That's how I know they're different, because they're not feeding me lines of BS. They're actually telling me what they have to offer, and they're showing me at the same time. If you're looking to reconcile, this is saying you've got to be bold. You've got to take the bull by the horns. If this person that you love so much and you're connected with is not making you feel good, and you know a year from now your life could be devastating if you stay with them, the King is saying get out of it. And you need to inspire other people. So maybe it's abuse, maybe it's something like that. You need to change it, turn it, and look at it in a completely different light. You need to be able to look at it and say, you know what? I can't allow myself to go through this, because maybe you have kids, maybe you have family, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let them see me in this type of situation, because I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be the bigger person, and I'm going to inspire other people to get out there and make things happen and allow themselves to be in healthy relationships and get treated the way that they should be. So, all right, Pisces, I hope you have a fantastic October. I'll see you soon.